Alright, in this video, we are going to build our first agentic AI workflow using OpenAI API. So as an IDE, I'm going to use the Cursor IDE. So if you haven't used Cursor before, think of it as VS Code, but with AI built right in. It helps you autocomplete, explain errors, and even generate code as you type. That makes it perfect editor for building agentic AI workflows, because we will be experimenting, chaining multiple calls, and printing results to the console. So let's dive in and set it up. So before continuing, let's set up our environment. So to be able to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead first create the virtual environment. So I'm using Mac. For Mac, it's going to be like this. In the terminal, we're just going to put Python 3-m vnv, then space .vnv. So this is going to set up our virtual environment. After doing so, the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to activate it by writing like this, source.vnv bin, and activate. Now this is for Mac. On Windows, it's going to be like this. You need to put this command to enable the virtual environment. Then to activate this, you have to use this command. So what I'm going to do, I'll activate the virtual environment. Now, after doing so, we need to install our packages to the virtual environment. So to be able to do that, we are going to use this command, pip install, and we need python.env. So it's going to be .env and OpenAI package. So after doing so, it's going to be installed these two packages to our virtual environment. Then the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to create a file which is going to call .env inside our root project. So the root project is agents over here. So here I'm going to go ahead and create a new .env file in which we are going to save our OpenAI key. So to be able to do that, first here we are going to create a variable. So everything has to be in capital letters. So OpenAI, then underscore API, then underscore key. Then we are going to provide the token over here. Now the question is how we are going to get our token. So to be able to do that, we have to go to our account in OpenAI website. So I'm going to open the platform.openai.com. So it's going to open this overview. So here, if you click the dashboard, then you can go ahead and see your tokens over here. So I have created some of them over here. So in your case, if it is missing, you just need to create new secret key, and it's going to create the secret key. Now the next thing that we are going to do, you are just going to copy this key from here and pass it over here for this variable. Now take into account that this variable has to be like this. We need to have it in the capital letter, and it has to be like this. So here OpenAI underscore API underscore and key. So after putting the key over here, the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to go ahead and create a new file in the root directory. So the file is going to be main.py. So whatever we are going to do, we are going to do inside this file over here. Now the first thing that we are going to do with our code, we are going to load our .env file. So to be able to do that, we are going to write the code like this, from .env. As you can see, if I go ahead and click tab, it's going to automatically bring the code for us. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So that's the main benefit of the Cursor IDE, because the code is auto-generated. So that's what we are going to do over here, because we are going to check for the OpenAI API key. So I'm just going to click tab. So it's going to put everything like this. So I'm not going to print out the key to the console. So here, this line will tell to the Python that look for a file called .env and load those variables. So here inside this one, I'm going to put override true, because here this part makes sure that the local key in this project takes priority over any global one, because in this case we are going to avoid the mistakes with the old keys. Now after doing so, we are going to check that if the key exists or not. So to be able to do that, what I'm going to do, instead of printing out the key to the console, because we don't want people to see our key, here I'm going to write the if condition like this. If OpenAI API key is not in .environment, so as you can see, it's showing the key automatically. So in this case, instead of raising, I'm just going to go ahead and print saying that this key is not set. Otherwise, we are going to print out first 6 characters of that key. So I'm just going to put it over here. So let's just put else condition. So here we are just going to put it like this. We can put it like this. This is going to access this, and we are going to put over here to bring only 6 characters. So it's going to be like this. Now if I just go ahead and run our code, you will see that the 6 character for all keys are same, so it's going to print out this one. So as you can see, our code works without any issue. Now the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to connect to the OpenAI using Python client. So to be able to do that, we have to put over here from OpenAI import OpenAI. So it's going to be like this. After doing so, we can just go ahead and create the client for it. So after this, I will just go ahead and put OpenAI is equal to, we are going to create the client like this. Now this is not going to download a model to your machine. This is simply create a client that talks to OpenAI servers. After doing so, we can just go ahead and create our first request to this model. So to be able to do that, here first we are going to create the message list in which we will have history of the message. So the message history is going to be in the form of dictionary, because as a role we need to provide the role, then we are going to provide the content. So if I just click tab, you see that automatically it's creating. So instead of system, I'm just going to put over here user as a role. So let's say as a question, we are just going to ask what is 2 plus 2. Then we can just go ahead and send this message to the OpenAI servers. Now as you can see, when my cursor comes over here, the cursor automatically generates the code. So I'm just going to create the tab. Basically, this code calls chat completion endpoint using OpenAI Python client that we have constructed over here, and it's going to use the model and message. So I'm just going to put the tab, and the code is automatically generated. This part that is print is generated is going to be like this. So it's going to return the list of completion candidates that is model generated. So the 0 that we are putting over here, we are accessing the first one, and usually we will have one candidate. Then we are accessing the message object inside the candidate. Then we are accessing the content of that message, which is going to be the answer. So I'm just going to save this and run this. You will see that in this case, after printing out the key, it says that 2 plus 2 equals 4. So as you can see, our code works without any issue. So that was our sanity check. Now let's get more interesting. Instead of just writing the question, let's have model to generate one. So what I'm going to do, instead of writing the 2 plus 2, here I'm going to go ahead and change this message. Say that please propose a hard, challenging question to assess someone's IQ, and respond only with question, no other text. After doing so, we can just go ahead and do the same thing. So what I'm going to do in this case, instead of printing it directly, here I'm going to create a variable which is going to be the question, and we will assign the result that we are getting from the OpenAI servers, and we are just going to print out that question to the console. So let's just print this question. So I'm just going to run this. You'll see that it's going to think. And it says that the question is like this. A train leaves a station traveling at the speed of 60 miles per hour, and another train leaves the same station 30 minutes later, traveling at the speed of 90 miles per hour. How far from the station will take the second train to catch up with the first train? So that is the question which is going to check the IQ level of someone. Now here, I'm going to make it more interesting, saying that now here, to make it more interesting, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that question and ask the GPT itself to answer that question. So to be able to do that, we need to create a second call. To create a second call, what we are going to do, we need to create the messages. So I'm just going to put over here message is equal to, so we need to put it as a list. Then we need to provide role as user, and content is going to be the question. So as you can see, the code is automatically generated over here. So I'm just going to click tab. Then it is creating this code also. So as you can see, in the message we have the question. Then we have over here passing this like this. Then we have the response. So here, instead of printing directly, we can just put over here answer and like this. Then we can just print out saying that answer, and I'll put answer like this. Now if I go ahead and run this, you see that we have extra brackets over here. Now run this. It's going to ask the question. Then we are going to take that question and ask it itself. So as you can see, here we have another question which says that a man is pushing his car along a road when he comes to the hotel. He shouts, "I am bankrupt. Why?" And the answer is, the scenario is a classic riddle. The man is playing a game of the Monopoly, and it continues like this. So as you can see, the GPT generates the question and answers the question. Now with this, we have successfully completed our first multi-step workflow. So one call generates the problem, the next call solves it. And this is the essence of agentic pattern. Now, if you watch this video, I want you to take the challenge to practice. So first, ask model to pick a business sector. Then second, ask it to describe one pain point in that sector. And as a third call, ask it to propose an AI solution. So chain these three calls together, just like we did, and print all three results to the console. So that's how you turn multiple calls into a real business insights. And if you find this helpful, hit the like, subscribe, and share it. And do the exercise and tag me on LinkedIn. I would love to see what you create. So see you in the next video.